Welcome to the third live B2B e-commerce tech talk session. So for those who do not know me yet, my name is Arno and I'm the Chief Product Officer at Santapay. I always had the wish to get a monthly get together with people in IT and tech and talking about the different topics, trending topics in the industry, because that is what I like to do, talking about IT-related stuff as a graduated computer engineer. It was a long time ago, I can tell you. So for those that were not there the last two times, the concept is straightforward. Every month we cover one or two agenda items based on what's going on the market, what we hear from customers, if there are any related topic. And we also give the opportunity, of course, to let you ask questions or to tell something about your own experience. Maybe that can help others in the virtual room that we are all in. So if you apply for the series, you will receive the agenda during the week of the Tech Talk, and you can decide if the topics are interesting for you. You can join via the link and the agenda invitation, which is there. So don't worry if you cannot make it. The video and audio will be recorded and can be found online on our YouTube or podcast channel. So welcome, Emilie.
Thank you, Arno. So for those of you who don't know me, I'm Emilie. I'm the Director of Customer Success for Sana, and I'm also your moderator today. So feel free to ask questions in the chat at any time, whether it's relevant or not for the subject. And when it's your turn, I'll ask you to speak up and ask your question live to Arno so we can have actually a conversation. Well, of course, if you're not speaking, put yourself on mute. We will do our best to answer all questions, but if we can't cover them all, we usually use them as input for the next session, which will be on the 1st of September, because the session of August, we cancelled it, so Arno can get some rest.
Thank you. It's my holiday.
Yeah. So today we have a bit of a different setup than usual, because I spent some time gathering input from customers and employees on what challenges they have and what also are the outcomes our customers want to achieve with their e-commerce platform. And we designed what we call an outcome framework based on that input, where we identify 5 main outcomes. And I want to use one of these outcomes today to have a conversation with Arno, which is about increasing revenue. It's a very obvious outcome for an e-commerce platform. You want to increase your sales, encourage repeat sales, increase upsell and cross-sell, and of course, drive higher conversions. And that's what we will talk about today. And as a small teaser, the other outcomes we've identified is driving customer loyalty. And that's one that's very much loved by our customers, really improving the experience of their customers, working more efficiently and cutting costs, acquiring new customers in new markets, and developing your brand image. So we'll try to use an episode once in a while to discuss one of these pillars. And today we're going to talk about increasing revenue. And that might sound a bit like a sales target, but I do believe that IT managers can contribute, right? I want to ask Arno, because this might sound to you more like a sales target revenue, but we do believe that IT managers can contribute to that.
Yeah, no, definitely. So there are different things on how to achieve that, or at least what we are seeing and working with customers. And the first thing is we're trying actually to educate IT leaders to become more, let's say, like a business navigator than just, let's say, hey, a problem solver or something. Work really together with your salespeople, with the business together, and see if you can let's say bring technology and the ideas that the business has together. And to give a couple of concrete examples is, sometimes, or at least what we see when talking to customers or joining these kind of conversations, is that these two worlds are not really, not always that close to each other, living really in their own departments or even in their own rooms or offices. And now from home, maybe the distance in some cases, if people are still working from a hybrid mode, is still far away. But the point that I want to make is, bringing these two worlds into one room can generate nice ideas. So, for example, we had conversations with customers that they say, hey, we want to do this kind of a promotion, but this is probably technically not feasible. And then the IT manager, that idea can just stay there in the business and say, hey, this is not possible. We will never do it like that, and so on and so on. And and it will never happen. But the IT manager knows the systems better and also knows, for example, the combination of the different tools in the landscape. Say, hey, but maybe we can solve it like this and this, right? So it can be a very complex promotion or something. Yeah, now with Sana, we of course believe in integrated e-commerce or ERP e-commerce. So most of the time, these IT managers also know the backend systems really well, and they can really do this mapping or saying, hey, but I believe there is something like this, or hey, I've seen this promotion or this kind of structure that we can use in the ERP to try a new type of pricing, for example. And that's sometimes how these IDs start generating. But it can also be about other things, like if you want to, it can also be the other way around. Sometimes, actually I joined a session with a customer, and there it was actually the other way around. They had, the sales was already believing for a long time in a certain pricing model. And for B2B, sometimes that can become quite complex and sometimes can, if that's 10, 20-year-old company, it can grow its own way, like a tree. It can get really big and also complex at some point in time. And it was also actually a technical challenge to keep up with that complex model, right? But on the other hand, it was also since it was so complex, people were leaving the company, like the old sales managers and so on. It was totally not transferable or something in the mind of other people. So actually there, the IT manager also came with a solution saying, hey, yeah, we also move it to another system. Let's also take this opportunity to simplify things. And yeah, what do you think? They simplify more or less this pricing model. And doing so, they had a much better results in the end because it was easily explainable. So this big complex thing, which was living for years, was even not so good anymore, right? So bringing these worlds together, business and IT, is, I think, something that is step number one. And really, one of the reasons is to get really the maximum out of your landscape. I think that you're having already in your company, IT landscape I'm talking about. Yeah.
And to be maybe a bit more concrete for those of you listening, what are initiatives or features that you think can help boost sales on the e-commerce platform that the IT department could help set up?
Yeah, so one big thing is B2B e-commerce especially is all about, or where there's a huge difference with B2C, is also about repeat orders, for example, or returning customers. That is something totally different. And you really need to understand that it is a different business than that you need to run, right? It's different way of running your shop or your store, that you have maybe 1,000 customers that are ordering multiple times a day, or 100,000 customers that are ordering once in a lifetime or once in a year or something, So that's a different story. So one of the things that is very central or helpful is the power of the order history, or to do also as a starting point to do repeat orders, to really make sure that this is available for the B2B buyers, and that is a starting point for to create a new order. So, and this order history, the most beautiful thing, of course, is also to have it not only from the e-commerce history, because not all, especially in the beginning, nobody has actually an e-commerce history in the B2B portal, right? If you're just starting, that needs to be built over time. So how beautiful is it if you can take that history also from offline orders? And that's definitely something we are supporting in the platform. But sometimes these, let's say, areas are not well known at the sales team, that you say, hey, yeah, but that can also be an opportunity, right? But the IT manager knows that, okay, we have an ERP that's full of data, right? He's totally aware of it. So use that order history and use it as a starting point for repeat ordering online. So the second example that I want to give is to enable the business to do testing for conversion optimization. So you can think about many different angles in this way, but you can think of, let's say, changing the different data or fields that you're showing on a certain product, for example. And nowadays we also create a lot of tooling inside Sana, but bringing, let's say, the data from Google Analytics as well as PBIC. This is one of the, let's say it's like like Google Analytics, but running on its in an own company. It's really specialized in analytics. Together with the ERP data, online and offline, e-commerce data, of course, transactional data, and also data from Sanacommerce. And we put it all in a big mixture and get nice insights from it. But one of the things is that you can get them from that insights is that say, hey, why is this product converting better than another one? Or why is this converting in a certain market better than another one? And it can be as simple as that some customers are looking for certain pieces of information which is missing, or which is, if you're talking about a multi-regional setup, was poorly translated, for example. And these are then, let's say, focus area where you can quickly make optimizations directly, right? So, and if you give these reporting or these insights to your business or to the people that are responsible for it, I think they can really quickly do this testing and optimize for converting stuff. So that's one angle on it. Maybe more on the product side. It's also about, okay, what on the checkout, what kind of fields do you ask? What do you want to know from your customers? Also in Sana, there is some flexibility there, of course, and you could try out, okay, hey, maybe we should do a little bit less of the things that we need for an order. We try to see if we can optimize that. Or sometimes you also need to supply extra information. It can also be the other way around. So maybe add a small banner to convince somebody or to let them know, okay, this is important, or this is where you can pick it up, or just to make the person ordering feel comfortable that the thing will be there. Another one, because I had some list prepared promotions in B2B. That can be, of course, also quite sophisticated at some point in time. But there's also there the IT manager probably to help, because he knows the system and also the capabilities. And often what I see is the ERPs nowadays offer such a broad feature set of all things that they can handle. And we are utilizing it, of course, with Sana, but a lot of customers are not even utilizing that just in their ERP. So that can also be a very nice starting point of exploring or trying new things. Sometimes certain ERPs also have a whole retail module. It sounds like, hey, you can only use it for retail, but you can actually use that functionality also for B2B activities. Why not, right? Make really complex mix and match promotions, for example. That's easy to try out, right? It's no development needed or something like that. It's just something that you can start right away.
And you mentioned also, when we talked about it, you mentioned we have something new also coming about helping customers figuring out how to recommend other products.
No, yeah, definitely. So I was talking about the reporting that we have now. We have it already now for, I think, a year or maybe 2 years in the product. Sorry, I cannot remember the exact launch date. But Sanacommerce Insights is there in the product for a while. Once again, gathering that overview, that insights from all those different information channels, the ERP, on and offline data, click behavior, and so on. Now, the cool thing that we have now, this data, is that we also can create beautiful recommendations. And that's actually something we're going to launch soon, based on machine learning, let's say. So we can provide this big bucket of data, because that is always what, machine learning, let's say, and algorithms really like. The more data you have, the better models you can create, etc. Or the better you can feed those models, and the better results come out of it. We are now, and we have really optimized them for B2B, and we're testing them now into certain customers on as a proof of concept. But we are more than ready to ship that soon, somewhere this quarter. So I'm excited about that. And technically how that is functioning. Once again, we are not only looking at the data that is coming from the online ordering, but also from offline. And we are also not only looking at, let's say, okay, if you order every day on Wednesday this product, then probably you need this as well. We are also looking at, okay, how is the composition of shopping carts or big orders, let's say, from customers and other customers, so that we can learn from that and propose that to the B2B buyer, so that they, hopefully also you'll forget less to order, right? Because I think in B2B that can be really, really frustrating. B2C as well, but in B2B I think even more. So imagine if you are in business, for example. Last week we had also a podcast with Jouke, and he explained a case with one of our customers. It's called AXO. They supply paint to painters, and imagine if they need to go to a job to paint a house for a customer, right? And they order the paint, but they forget all the other things that you need to do the job, right? So sounds obvious, but happens a lot. And for paint, maybe it sounds still easy, or you need to know that you need a brush as well and something else. But of course, if the things that you're ordering are getting more complex, I don't know, an engine or something, and you need some special stuff, or an air conditioning, and you need to install that in the home, and you need all different things, or solar panels needs to go on a roof, and you need all those different kind of connectors or whatsoever. You do not want to arrive there and say to the customer, "Oh no, sorry, I need to drive back to the store, or another shipment needs to come." That is not what you want, right? So that's why the power of recommendations is, I think, even more important in B2B than in B2C.
Yeah, I've seen also recently I spoke to a customer that sells filters and spare parts also for these filters, and their customers don't know which spare parts to select unless they advise them based on the filters they have. So I think that's also where IT can play a role in guiding the customers to the right.
Correct.
Well, I think that's indeed quite a lot of things that the IT managers can do to contribute to increasing revenue with the e-commerce platform. So thank you for these highlights. I propose that we move on.
Yes.
But of course, you can always, as soon as you have something to ask, please put it in, and I will make sure it's asked during the session.
No problem.
Well, actually, why we talked about increasing revenue is also because we wanted to talk about one of our new products that we launched recently, or relaunched recently, which is called Santapay.
Exactly.
So can you tell us more about it?
Yes, of course. So Santapay is actually Sana's in-house payment offering. So we really transformed into a payment service provider. We use Adyen as our technology partner, but we are really a PSP on its own because we are handling everything end to end for our customers, which means that we are there for you, and we are. And maybe 2 steps back, why we started this actually to build this is the fact that we saw many B2B companies struggling with online payments. First of all, it's not so very common. Second of all, it's still for the majority of our customer base, let's say, sometimes difficult to select a payment service provider, to do online payment, to go through all the paperwork, because which one you all choose, there is always quite some things you need to deliver, information about your company or which bank account, all that stuff. And last but not least, most of the suppliers out there are not optimized for B2B, right? They are very optimized for B2C, where it is very common. We already do online payments for many, many years. There are also lots of different payments methods on the market there, credit cards, Ideal, so forth, and you can name them. But for B2B, it's a little bit different. So that's why we started this whole journey, and we did a couple of things. So first of all, we created or optimized the add-on also for B2B. So what we did is, for example, we introduced also features which are really handy for B2B. One of the things we are doing is that it will automatically select based on the logged-in user or the user that is the B2B buyer, based on the location, that we only show the payment methods that are applicable for them. So that's a nice, easy thing. The second thing what we are doing in our offering as well is that if you are more in a situation that in business that you say, hey, I need to buy this, but my boss or my needs to pay for it, then we have a feature called, for example, pay by link, so that you can complete the checkout, but we will generate an email link that will be sent to this to your boss, for example, and he or she can just do the payment things. So that's one thing. We're also working on other things like B2B is often can also be about a big amount, right? It's not only, I think still the average, let's say for B2C ordering is around 100 euros. For B2B, in our statistics, around 1,000 euros. So that's a big, of course, 10 times more, but still not so big. We also have orders, let's say from 20 or 30K or something. And sometimes you cannot always pay that just with, of course, one card. So we have also, we are currently working also, for example, multi-card payments, so that, with 2-3 cards, you can do a transaction. And then you say, why not paying on the invoice, or why not stimulate that? And that's, I think, the main reason also for our customers to go to, because there are actually two. One is it's about conversion enablement. If you, for example, open your store for maybe a bigger or larger customer base, you do not always want to introduce directly this customer base or connect this customer base to just to pay by on invoice, right? Because there can be a risk. You do not have that relationship yet. Imagine that you open in another region or something, it's just new, it's maybe a little bit scary. Then such a, starting with not on payment on invoice, but working with a payment service provider, like we offer with Santapay, is, I think, a very good solution to start, because it's completely safe. You're for sure that you get your money, and that it is being paid for where and so on. So that is reason number one. But the second one is that also customer or the B2B buyers, including myself, we are seeing a trend that they like to do actually these online payments directly, and that is mostly because of the and MasterCard, of course, did a nice analysis around it lately, or in the beginning of this year, is that they also see this trend that these online payments are credit card payments, for example, are increasing. That's because of the cyber fraud, right? Because with a lot of fake invoices and all those things, there is also a lot of troubles going on, right? So even I receive them sometimes as well, and they are going to look more and more like if it's coming from one of my colleagues or something. Hey, Arno, I just purchased this. Can you prove it? Can you pay it, etc. So I say, hey, that's, one, it takes time, and second, it's also dangerous, right? So for me personally, also, if I need to order something, maybe not still for running in the big business, maybe ordering laptops for somebody or doing something else, directly with the credit card, because it's done and I know it's settled. So that's pretty easy. So it's also about the safety for you as a company and the B2B buyers, right? So and that's why we see growing trends also in our own numbers of online payments, even in B2B. And we see also the frequency of orders is increasing. So it's not only orders that are being placed, let's say, once a week and then a huge one, and it's a lot of no, they just, since shipments going so fast nowadays, multiple times a day, and then you can just do that with a credit card. It's pretty easy, because another feature that we're doing is we have a wallet, so that you can just, with B2B, you can maybe have a couple of credit cards or different payment methods that you want to keep, so that you don't every time have to fill it in. And that is also something we are offering.
And actually, we already have customers using Santapay, because
true.
We've been having it for a while.
Yeah.
And I think more than 20 customers already using it. We see quite a significant improvement to their web store performance.
No, definitely. Yeah. So we have even more customers already on it, but we have seen around 30, 40, 38% less abandoned cart, let's say so higher conversions in these in the last part of the checkout. And that's because also the payment method is so embedded and so, let's say, optimized for B2B, but also so embedded in our platform that it is performing much better than the other checkout methods. And so that's already great results. And besides of that, we also see that these customers in general are more successful in B2B e-commerce. So, and we have two different things we are measuring from that, or indicators. One is the amount, or let's say the percentage in online and offline ordering. And of course, we are stimulating that online ordering for our customers. And we see that they are scoring much higher percentages than people that are not using Santapay. And the other one is just pure on the GMV, so the amount of revenue that's going through the store. There's also a huge difference in customers that are using Santapay and customers that are not doing any online payments. So it's definitely a proof point that there is a lot of potential in online payments also for B2B. It's easy to try out. You just pay per transaction, so there's no upfront investments or whatsoever. You can start, today, and that's the easy one. Yeah.
And I know that we also have we have two flavors.
Yes.
Santapay Plus. So can you explain to us a bit what are the two flavors?
Yeah, actually, yeah. So while developing Santapay, we also made it, let's say, even better for the customers that need it. So that's mostly the benefit, not for the B2B buyers they are serving, but more for our customers, so you, to more automate the processes around payments. Because, we are always, evangelizing the way of integration, and that is so important to make that we're connecting the Sana Commerce or the e-commerce to the ERP systems or the backend systems. But now with the payment solution, there's another way. That's Santapay. It's another solution where you do the transactions and so on. So with all other solutions in the market, it's always like, okay, you need to log in at least 2 or 3 systems. You have the e-commerce platform, then you have the payment service provider. You need to see if the payments are okay, statuses. Sometimes there is some integration. Sometimes you need to build it. I see a lot of customers where they have built, import exports to do, for example, reconciliation. So I had to see, hey, can you map a payment to a transaction to an order, for example, and so on. So that is happening a lot, but it's also so much time manual work. And that, I think, especially in things related to finance processes, can be easily automated. And that's what we did with Santapay. So in general, all processes around the payment that can happen. So if you need to cancel a payment, or if you need to add a little bit more, I will talk about that later on. In B2B, that happens a lot. We will make sure that it is all automated. So the e-commerce, the backend system, ERP system, and the payment systems is talking the same language continuously. You do not need any manual work to synchronize it. So it's seamless and it's automated. Everything is happening there. And that comes also with a monthly fee. So Santapay Plus is with a monthly fee, but I think it's definitely worth it because it saves the finance department, especially if you have quite some orders, let's say a couple of 100 orders per month already on online paid. You will definitely can make the business case to go for it because it will all do these automated processes. So I have, for example, one thing with B2B is that sometimes the order can change. Customers still sending a message or is saying, hey, or editing the order, saying, hey, I need not 4 laptops, but I need 6. And then also this can be out because we have the payment details. It's all automatically being done, and the extra payments being charged. It can also be the other way around, so that they do not need 6 but 4, or there was only so then you'll need to give money back, for example, or charge less. All those scenarios are all taken care of, and that is I think really beneficial for our customers.
Now, maybe just a more simple question, but is Santapay available for all countries, or where is it available?
Yeah, so no, it's different regions that we're currently supporting. So in Europe, in North America, Australia and Singapore are now the first regions that we are supporting Santapay. And but we are extending that, let's say, release after release. It's just a matter of time, I think, that we have more. But these are also our biggest markets. So I think chance will be pretty high that you will be in that region. Yeah.
But this is like the regions where we support Santapay, but that doesn't mean that customers from other regions cannot pay on this website.
Exactly. Yeah. So in terms of payment methods, I believe we support more than 150 or something all over the world. So it's more about that since we are now a PSP, it's all you need to do that or set up things per region to make that happen. It's all legally and technical things involved. But for our B2B buyers, it's so for your customers, they can come from all places in the world because we are supporting huge amount of, I think every payment method that you can imagine. Yeah.
Okay. And maybe something interesting that we didn't touch upon. Santapay is also solving some pains, and what are the advantages of using Santapay?
Yeah, so we touched upon a little bit, but maybe to remember a little bit. So we embed the payments, so it's also really mobile friendly. We use the tokenized payments, or what we call also the wallet. So you can save your card information from different credit cards or debit cards into your My Account section. And sometimes with B2B that can, you can have a couple of cards, of course. Pay by email to send a request to your boss, for example, to pay something. Localization, so that only the payment methods, because if you have 150 for all those different regions and countries, it's not what you want to show to your B2B buyers. It should be just 1 or 2 that they can choose from, which are particularly good for that region. And of course, we are fully certified, so we follow all the standards like PSD2 and PCI, of course. All that stuff is taken care of, so you will be in good hands. Everything is secure and audited.
Thank you. Anything else you wanted to add about Santapay or?
No, I think
increasing revenue.
It is. I think it's a starting point. Let's say once again, looking at our numbers from our customer base, B2B payments or online payments is at the beginning, but we see really a trend that it is growing rapidly. And once again, it's about the issues around cybersecurity, but also just the convenience, just to pay something, and the opportunity for you as a customer to open new markets quickly, and to try out. And once again, you can just start with it today. There is just a little paperwork to do. And once again, also that is why we do it end to end, because we optimize it really. We know what to ask for B2B companies, and we have the knowledge, of course, of our customer base. So we made it really easy and convenient. And I think that's just what you need to do, right?
Yeah, agree.
Yeah, and otherwise, leave anything in the chat if you have any questions or new topics for the next time. We can definitely look into that. And with the new one in September, we will put something, how to say it, online or in the agenda for what topics we will cover then.
I heard we're going to talk about the new SAP research.
Okay. That's interesting. Okay, cool. And of course, we have still 4 other, let's say, pillars on the value realization or outcome framework to cover. So that is also always good to talk about.
Yes.
All right. Then thank you very much.
Thank you.
And
see you next time.
See you next time.